Hello, I'm Theolin. This is Soul School. Welcome back to Angelic Realms. This is episode 3. And previously, I promised that it would be all about where are the angels? And after I made that promise, and today while I was preparing myself to make the video, I began to feel a bit nervous about it because it's such a huge topic. And these videos for YouTube are meant to be quite short and, deliver something that's helpful to you without being, a great long episode. So where to start? The issue around where the angels are is metaphysical and philosophical, you could say, because first of all, we have to understand what we believe about the reality that we are in, that we are participating in. And of course, with materialism, you get the notion that there's stuff out there and that we're perceiving it. And for the most part, people don't see every day beautiful ladies with long golden hair and white wings. They are not seen as part of the natural material world that human beings inhabit. So when somebody says they've experienced or had occasion to feel the presence of an angel or see an angel, what actually is going on? There was a time among the scholars of old where discussions were held about how many angels could dance on the head of a pin. Now, the answer to that is an infinite number, because the angels do not have presence in the sense that they don't have anything that you can measure in the usual way, right? So they're not taking up space. So an infinite number can dance on the head of a pin. So when we think like that, we know that the angel is something intangible in the way human beings would usually expect to be able to experience something with their 5 senses. So something else we assume is going on. So if the angels are intangible and invisible most of the time, unless we see something, what is the experience of having contact with an angel, and how does it arise? Well, it arises in consciousness, and everything that exists is conscious in that huge way. There's a universal consciousness. You can call it the divine, you can call it the universal field, you can call it God if you don't mind using that word. So everything exists in consciousness, including you and me, and everything that's around. Even things that are inanimate, like, my bookshelves and so forth, they are still in consciousness because we are experiencing them. So one way of thinking about how our consciousness works in relation to meeting or experiencing or conversing even with an angel could be a bit like this. If you imagine yourself on the surface of the ocean of consciousness, and actually you've got a nice little boat. That boat is your everyday self, your ego, and your body as well. So you've got a good little boat, and you can experience other things that are in consciousness because, that's a possibility for your perception from your position on the boat. You can also experience things like the weather. The weather might represent other people's comments, other people's actions, other people's emotional stuff. You can experience all those things. They're all in your perceptions as a human being in your little everyday self boat. Now, everything that you perceive, which includes all the other human beings in their little boats, and everything in the world, whatever it is, all the other creatures, all the plants, all the trees, the rocks, the mountains, you perceive those, but everything is coming out of consciousness, or they're representative of the deep consciousness of the universe. So if you were to stop perceiving and looking outwards at everything and asking your five senses to interact with this wonderful game that is creation, if you stop for a moment and you turned your consciousness inward, which would be like diving into the ocean underneath your boat, for example, if you were to do that and you kind of switched off those outer perceptions and started to explore what are the other layers in this ocean of consciousness, that is the place, or those are many, many layers of that place, where you could experience other things. And you could then encounter beings, guides, angels, all kinds of things. You could meet spirits, people who had lived once upon a time who might come and talk to you. So when we've heard that famous expression, the kingdom of heaven is within you, that is what we're talking about. We're talking about your consciousness, your everyday consciousness, like the little person in the boat, has nonetheless got a connection to the deeper levels of consciousness. And that is where you would find angels. So, well, we talked about what an angel is and how it's a messenger. So what can happen is that this person in their little boat, might be you, might be me, is sailing along in their life merrily, getting their qualifications, getting a career, having their children, getting a mortgage, all those things. And they're not taking much notice of the deeper layers of their own consciousness, the deeper layers which are divine. They're not really interested in the kingdom of heaven because they're very busy doing other things. But something can happen, a crisis can happen, or something that makes you or I feel that this isn't quite right. What's wrong? What's going wrong in my ordinary everyday life? And then, well, either an angel will spontaneously occur in your life, and that's happened to me, or you can conscientiously go on a meditation journey and ask to meet an angel who can give you a message of, well, reassurance is one word we could use, but quite often the angels can tell you something that's not necessarily reassuring, but is challenging and is telling you that you've got to get your act together. And there can be a sense of an awesome feeling that, whatever you're doing in your life is not actually really true to your soul's purpose. So the angel who speaks to you is likely to be your daimon, your genius, or what Christians would call guardian angel. Nowadays, I'm less happy about using this word guardian angel because it tends to suggest that this being is going to guard you and protect you all the time. But it's more like Jiminy Cricket, actually. It's more like, hold on, you're not getting the job done. Come on, knuckle down, turn your life around, do something different, because otherwise you're wasting time. So that's more in keeping with the notion in Greek tradition of the daimon, who pushes you and can push you into situations, in fact, where you're actually going against the social requirements that seem to be in place for you. And so you've got to overturn things that are expected of you. And that can happen. An angel can come with a message and say, get off your butt, hand in your notice, don't stop fretting about the mortgage. You can't carry on like this. So where is that angel? Where is that angel? That angel is in you. It's participating in the process of your very being. And if you're not listening to it, then, well, things might work out all right. They might. Quite a few people get through their lives without serious mishap, without ever listening to an angel. But I strongly suspect that they might end their lives feeling slightly dissatisfied with what they've come to at the point that they die. So that's where the angels are. They're in the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is within you. And I've particularly mentioned the angel that can speak to you, to your personal issues, the daimon, genius, guardian angel, whatever. And then there are other angels, and there are archangels, and we'll find some time to talk about them in the next session. Many blessings.